The Kansas City Chiefs are back at practice today as postseason practice has officially begun. Head coach Andy Reid spoke with the media to give some updates on injured players and how the team will be conducting business as they await to learn their divisional round opponent. So it's time to talk all things Kansas City Chiefs right now. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Friday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. After a week of quiet, we finally got a little sound. Today, we bring you Andy Reid's presser along with the AP All-Pro rosters. Plus, we're going to talk through who you might see return to the 53-man roster any moment. First, give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and let's get this one rolling. It is almost wildcard weekend, just a little less than 24 hours away, but before you get all snuggled in on the couch for a great weekend of football, let's check in with head coach Andy Reid, who spoke for the first time since the Chiefs concluded their regular season play. Now, Reid gives us updates on the left tackle position, how practice has been looking, and how it's gonna look this next week. Also, some key information on starters dealing with injuries. Now, without further ado, I bring you the longest version of Fast Friday you're ever going to see, Casey.
Yeah, listen, I thought DJ did a pretty good job there. A few plays he'd probably like to have back, but he's heading in the right direction for sure. And I haven't made any decisions on that, which direction to go right this minute. So we'll see. We'll get there by the time we get into the end of next week there. So yeah, well, the best part is that they both are good players. So, and Kelly Endo's playing well too. So I'm not too worried about that whole situation. But we'll just see how it plays out. Andy rotates them during the week anyway, so they'll all get work, and we'll just go from there. But you obviously want the best combination, but I think in this case you got three guys there that are pretty good players. From what I've said before, that I think both of them deserve an opportunity again to be head coaches. They're obviously getting some play here, so other people recognize that too, and we'll just see where it goes. I know they're focused on taking care of business now here and then looking at these other things this week, and then that stops after this week. Yeah, sure. No, he's working through that, and he'll be fine. He's a hard worker. That's what he does, and he's a perfectionist on everything. And so he'll just keep cranking, and I think he's getting better. Excuse me. I think he's getting better every day as he goes through this. Yeah, listen. I mean, there's no place better to do it than right here in Kansas City. But when you're in the middle of it, you really don't think about it. You're thinking about the next game. I mean, that's just how this business is. When you look in the rearview mirror, then you normally get your tail kicked. So you got to be careful of that. And but we're just trying to keep pushing forward. But at the same time, we know we've got great fans. I don't ever want to slight that part. I mean, Arrowhead's an unbelievable place to play. With the support of GH as part of this thing too. So, but we, the thing I enjoy the most and about the present is, for however great this thing is, these guys are so humble and they work so hard, and I appreciate that part from a coach's standpoint. We actually have played, which is crazy, but we've played all the teams that are in the playoffs, and
yeah.
So you got to go back, though. You can't be content with that. So the four teams that we have a chance to potentially play in a couple weeks here, we've tried to hammer those out, and we're going to continue to do that until we find out what the results are, probably Sunday night, somewhere in that area. So, or at least late afternoon, I'd imagine. But so we'll figure it out and see where it goes. But we're going to try to be ready for all of them while we have this time. And we've tried to use it smart as a coaching staff. At the same time, we want to make sure our players are fresh, but still stay sharp. So they work today in pads, and they'll go tomorrow. And then Sunday, whether it's a Saturday game or a Sunday game, they'll have Sunday off. Yeah, well, listen, they all practice today. So that was a good thing, Matt, that they were all able to get in there and bang it around a little bit and That was the big plus. So they're all doing well. To answer your question, they're doing well. So Adam, he worked last week. He came out of those workouts and felt good. He worked hard today, and we did a lot of one-on-one stuff today, so ones versus ones. And so he was able to get in there and work that, and he looked good from what I've seen. I haven't gone back and looked at the tape yet, but he looked like he was moving around pretty good. Yeah, Nate, you know how that position, that's a tough position now. You take a beating at that position. So, I think this period of time, the rest period, benefits a lot of people, but those running backs really, that's a good time for recovery. And I think they were smart with it. All the guys have been working out, so they're kind of chomping at the bit to get going. And that's kind of how you want it. They knew that this bye week was going to be different than your in-season bye week, and so they've all been in working and doing their thing. To answer your question with those two, I don't know how he'll divvy up, but I would imagine it'll just end up being the same as we've been doing with them. They'll both be in there battling, Yeah, for sure, Nick. I mean, that's the experience helps, especially with some of the younger guys, to be able to talk to them and tell them about the urgency of this thing. It is single elimination. That's easier said than putting that in your brain and getting yourself right for every snap that you have practice hard and aggressive with. So you just got to make sure you stay focused and don't let distractions in there the best you can. Today we did ones versus ones. I mean, that would be an example of what you're saying. So they get that speed and against each other and have to compete, and these are all competitive guys, but you put the ones out there against each other, they really get competitive, and that's kind of a fun thing to be a part of, and it's good for the guys. It's good to get caught up like that on the speed part of it.
All right, so the team was on the field practicing today as well, according to Reid. This is their first time back together for the practice since Week 18 concluded. Quarterback Shamari Connor dealing with a shoulder injury, defensive tackle Chris Jones, calf, running back Isaiah Pacheco, ribs, right tackle Jawan Taylor, knee, and cornerback Jalen Watson, ankle, all practice today. As you heard Reid say, Watson was moving around pretty well out there. Out of all those players, Watson is the only one currently on the injured reserve still. Now, last week, the Chiefs did open up his 21-day practice window to return to the active roster. He's not yet been placed on the 53-man roster, but that could be coming here soon. Today, the Chiefs shared that they have made some room on the active roster by placing defensive tackle Marlon Tuipulotu on the reserve/injured. That means there are only currently 52 players now on the active roster, meaning one spot is available for Watson to return if the Chiefs choose to do so. Also, wide receiver Mecole Hardman still on the IR as well. That could possibly signal his return as well. We'll just have to wait and see. Also, in today's news, the NFL AP All-Pro rosters were announced with 4 Chiefs players landing on the list. For first-team honors, we got defensive tackle Chris Jones, left guard Joe Thuney, and center Creed Humphrey all making the cut. As for second-team honors, quarterback Trent McDuffie saw his name listed. Now, the Chiefs press release shared that this marks the second consecutive inclusion of the first team for Thuney, who also earned a spot on the second team in both 2019 and 2022. Humphrey earned All-Pro honors for the first time in his career on Friday after leading all centers in offensive snaps with 1,112. He's been the league's best overall pass-blocking center for this year, according to Pro Football Focus. And after earning Pro Bowl nods in each of the last 3 seasons, the 4-year veteran can now add All-Pro designation to his resume. Now, Jones, meanwhile, landed on the first team for the 3rd straight season after ranking 6th among all players in terms of pressure in 2024 with 74. He was consistent, too, logging at least 6 pressures in 7 of his 15 games this year. Lastly, McDuffie has now earned the distinction of being an All-Pro for the 2nd time in his career after earning a first-team nod at slot cornerback last year. Now, McDuffie earned the 2nd highest Pro Football Focus grade among all quarterbacks in 2024, only behind Denver's Patrick Surtain II. All right, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily. We will not be back tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the wild card games. Have a great rest of your day. Like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and we'll see you on Monday.